Okay, I think I'm ready. Welcome, everybody. Welcome to the Church of Hella. I am Greg. With me, as always, is my amazing friend, the Judas in my Bible, Jesse.
You call me the Judas, but these duels are fucking rigged.
I mean,
House always wins. We were talking about this before we took off.
We just were. It's just a money. It's a points laundering front. That's the whole. That's the whole thing.
I mean, I don't remember getting an invitation to the organized crime ring, but it's fine. I'll keep waiting for it.
That's part of the Church of Hella. When you're in, you're in. It's an all encompassing. It's an umbrella.
Yeah. I'm the Judas though, so I'm taking a slice when I leave.
Before this episode's over, one of you will betray me.
Like 10 silver pieces.
I don't even think it was that much.
Dang, got fucked.
Yeah, could have got so much more. Hey, everybody. Thank you for being here. I really do appreciate you all being here. It means a lot. Oh, I forgot. Jesse, tell everybody where they can find you.
Oh, I am Cromulent Jesse on most social media. When I say most, I mean Instagram and Twitter. And I don't really do stuff there that much. But if you start coming there, I will. Also on YouTube, same thing. Or perfectlycromulentjesse.com.
I like the bargaining.
Yeah.
I don't really go there. You don't really go there, but we can meet there.
We can meet there. That's what I'm saying. Also, you can find me Tuesday night, 6 o'clock, hellagregLIVE.
Oh, man. Well,
you got to know your crowd, and I know my crowd is fucking lazy. I'll meet you guys there, bros.
I'm glad we can have a little bit of fun now, because that's the end of the fun for the show.
I know. I was kind of thinking that too, so I was trying to get it out.
Yeah, if you got any jokes, make them now, because
I mean, look, I'm an observational humorist, so I say it as it comes. I can't just make a joke right now. What? No, I got nothing.
I was really hoping for something.
I got nothing.
Ooh. Sometimes when I freestyle, exactly. I lose confidence.
It's a big, fat, crazy picture of New York. Freestyling. New York, hey.
Sometimes when I freestyle, I lose confidence. So again, thank you everybody for being here. I really appreciate you. Feel free to hop on hellagregLIVE.com. Yes, Nicole, you did make it work. You made it. I'm proud of you. Nicole's my Virgin Mary in the Bible. I appreciate anybody who wants to take part in the Church of Hella Bible. It's amazing. Like I said, I got a Judas.
I was going to say, Mary. Judas is already taken, though, so don't fucking bother, bros.
Yeah, well, it was a coin toss between Judas and Satan. And,
yeah. I just felt like I got to betray you more as Judas, so I chose that role.
It's the ultimate betrayal.
Yeah.
It's the ultimate betrayal.
I mean, look, don't get me wrong. Getting to be Satan sounded pretty dope, but it also sounded like a lot more work than Judas had to do, too.
Oh, yeah.
So
yeah, I mean, talk about world creating.
Right.
That's a lot of time.
Ooh, dibs on Lilith. All right.
I can't wait till somebody's like, "Yo, I want to be Mary Magdalene." Snip, snap.
I want to be the myrrh.
Not the guy who brought it.
Nope, just the myrrh itself.
I asked her earlier. I was like, what's your manger situation? That's fine. You know what? It's been done.
Let's play it out anyway.
So yeah, feel free, chat it up. You can exclamation point, throw hands. You saw that some of that if you just jumped in. You can gamble, you can heist, you can do all that stuff. So if you have any questions, you can hit exclamation point commands, and it'll take you to a page on my website with all the hellagregLIVE commands. hellagregLIVE is the bot. He's the butler bot of the channel. He keeps things moving along. I only had to put, how you put words you don't want showing up in the chat in the thing. I only have 2.
Is that right?
Yeah, there's only 2 banned words in there. I know I need to expand the list.
Mine is 2 now as well because I have the Autobot catch most of them, and then I added whatever ones I want. So Paul added the 2 for me into it.
I think I'm not even sure if my Autobot's
But you
on.
fucking moderators keep abusing it and just typing it in anyway because you guys aren't set to the banned word list.
I wanted to see if it worked. That was all. I was just
6
testing.
times.
Once is a coincidence. Twice, what is it? Twice is a pattern, and 3 is a program.
And 7 is...
It's the Seth MacFarlane where it stops being funny and then it circles around to being funny again.
Fair enough.
Yeah, there you go. Buy stuff with my face on it. Thanks, Jesse.
Yeah, no problem. I mean, I guess it's hellagregLIVE who's doing all this, but
No. But you're commanding. You're commanding. You're driving. You're like, yeah, the car got us there, but somebody had to steer unless you drove a Tesla.
I was gonna say it's the Tesla. Dude. I'm not doing anything. I already put those commands in too. I just made it look like it's me.
I should change the name. All right. So again, glad we're having some fun now because we'll get it out of the way. Today we're gonna talk about a day forever etched in history. Whoops, you can't even see me. There you go. A day forever etched in history. That'll be September 11th, 2001. It's gonna be kind of a heavy episode. I say we're not gonna joke. I mean,
We have to.
Already explained the kind of people we are.
This
so.
is kind of like most of the people here we're serial killers fans.
Yes.
And they understand where we sit on a lot of this stuff already. They know us. They know who we are. They know how we operate. And we must operate on the just before offensive scale of things because it's the only way to make it.
Listen, if you can't laugh at yourself, you can't. And I mean, I understand this has nothing to do with me personally. And I'm not laughing at these people. I'm laughing at the absurdity of the situation of what I'm about to describe. Because there's, I'm not going to tell you what the banned words are, because then somebody's going to abuse their power and type it in.
I can just go look. I'll just go into administrator.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Well, whatever.
They're right at the top.
So yeah, I'm just kind of laughing at the absurdity of the situation of the stuff that I'm going to tell you. Again, I'm not saying like 9/11 didn't happen. You know, people are like 9/11 was faked. Well, no, it fucking wasn't. There was like, no, that's not it.
Okay, I'm gonna take some shots at it tonight.
I'll tell you, it's 2 variations of the same word.
Okay.
But you know, there's a lot of absurd things in the stories that surround 9/11, in the build up to 9/11, and in the I don't know, the evidence that they used to put the official reports together for the 9/11 Commission. There's just a lot of, like I said, 1 is a coincidence, 2 is a pattern, and 3 is a program. And that was a quote taken from somebody who was talking about this. He said when the first plane hit, they were like, okay, that could have been a fluke. Listening back on like the air traffic audio and stuff, which he didn't have privy to at this time because this audio came out later. But listening to him at the time, he was saying, you know, we didn't know it was a terrorist attack. Well, turns out they actually did. There's audio where you can hear one of the pilots left the mic open. And
classic.
Well, and you can hear the guy. He thought he was talking over the PA system in the plane to the cabin, and he was actually talking to the air traffic control. Mm-hmm. And so, you know, you can hear him. But we'll get to all that. But what I'm saying is, like, it's just some of the stuff is so absurd. Some of the stuff doesn't make any sense. And it's in the lack of information that these conspiracy theories build, and that's where this stuff comes from. Because in the vacuum of information, you got to fill it in. You know how your brain fills in the stuff that you're seeing out of your peripheral vision. You can't have this complete. We know what happened. We saw 2 planes hit these buildings. We saw a third one, or something hit the Pentagon. I'm not going to say it's a plane because I really don't fucking believe that. But
Just give us those surveillance tapes from the Arco station across the street.
Dude, we've got 5 frames of footage. What more do you want? It clearly shows nothing hitting something, and then something explodes. It's
all of it would be nice.
No, you can't get the full story. But that's what I'm saying. Because you can't get the full story, you have to make assumptions based on what you know. And what we know is that the government has a history of being shady with things, and
I don't know what you mean by that.
History.
I think they've always been pretty good with our best interest in mind. Yep.
All right. So I'll start with this then. A quote from Winston Churchill: "Never let a good crisis go to waste." So that just kind of sets you off in the direction that we're going. That's the mood that these guys take, apparently since at least World War II. And what that means is when there is a crisis, when there is a global problem or even a national problem, there's going to be opportunists who want to take advantage of it, who want to use it for, who want to politicize it and use it to further their cause and push their narrative. And we see it with literally everything. Like, literally everything. It all boils down to laws and to bills being passed and all that stuff. The reaction.
I'm just a bill.
And I'm sitting here on Oh, fuck, we're going to get DMCA'd for that.
That one for sure.
That'd be cool, though, to get a letter from Schoolhouse Rock.
It's a chip off the block.
That one was pretty good, I thought.
What did we say about joking?
I said that I was going to be doing it. It's a must.
So
Not to snort some of this Red Bull, get the energy level up in this room.
If it gets any livelier, a funeral's going to break out.
Hey.
Take my wife, please.
I love the hat. To come with a bowl of soup.
Hey, want to make $20 the hard way? I fucking love Rodney Dangerfield. Back to School was a national treasure. And
He was a national treasure in every movie he was in.
Larry Burns for life. Larry Burns for life. Hey, want to buy a stretched out Coke bottle with some googly eyes? Ah, come on, I got all kinds of crap. So I do want to say, I want to define a couple of things first. Like I said, a lot of people, you'll hear people say 9/11 was faked. 9/11 wasn't fake. 9/11, or fake means not real. Didn't happen. It didn't exist. It's stupid. That's a stupid thing to say. Clearly 3,000 people died. Something bad definitely happened. Buildings fell. Like,
we all saw that.
Yeah,
with our eyes.
Yeah, it's not like it was a hologram since 1972, and then they were like, the projector battery ran out, and we had to fake the simulation. Like, fucking get out of here, dude. That shit's like we all saw it happen in real time. Now
a lot of us, if you're old enough, we're probably sitting in a classroom just. Okay, so if you're...
It happened about 6:30 in the morning our time.
Right, but that was the first strike, right?
Yes.
And the second one was...
The whole thing, so it happened, it was like 9:00 something or 9:15 or whatever when the first plane hit, and then 102 minutes later was when the second building fell.
So I was in my first period class, and I remember watching...
You had zero period?
Yeah, I was...
Ugh.
And no.
Oh.
I think the building fell when I was in first period photography. It was like 7:40 a.m. here, so it would have been 10:40 there, so...
Fuck, dude. This makes me feel old. I was in 3rd grade. I was in 5th grade.
Well, I mean, that's only 4 or 5, 6 years old. It was my freshman year of high school, so maybe I didn't see it fall. I'm George Bushing this right now, but I definitely remember. That's all we did in every class.
There's an old saying in Tennessee. I know it's in Texas, probably in Tennessee, that says, "Fool me once, shame on you." If fool me, we can't get fooled again.
It's like the fucking laugh track behind it is like it's a comedic event. Like what's that? Jeffrey Ross up there, like warming up the crowd. Jesus. Second grade for effing Wisco.
Damn, dude.
So we'd have been 8th and 9th grade for you and I.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was in 8th grade. So, but
you know who broke the news to me?
who's that?
Kevin and Bean.
Really?
Yep. Because I fell asleep listening to Loveline every night. So I woke up listening to Kevin and Bean every morning.
That's fair.
And I didn't really like listen to it. I usually woke up, turned it off, and went about my morning because those guys were garbage. But
Fair.
they broke 9/11 to me.
That's a weird place to get it.
I know because my parents didn't wake me up or anything. I don't think they even really like.
My mom.
My dad would have already been at work
Yeah.
hours before, and my mom I don't think grasp it. I mean, we used to watch CMT in the morning. Country music videos played while we got ready for school.
Yeah.
We weren't watching the news and shit. So I'm not even sure if it was like.
See, that was totally. My mom totally had the news on every morning. She was getting she was watching the weather, local news, all that stuff while she's getting ready in the morning and yelling at me to wake up. And I remember, putting on a pair of pants and going out and watching TV and flopping down on the couch and watching the video, and I was like, yo, why are they showing this movie trailer on the news?
Yeah.
And my mom was like, what are you talking about? This isn't a movie trailer. And I'm like, oh shit. And even at the time, I totally didn't appreciate the gravity of it because I'm a child watching this happen. I don't really understand. And I think that's tough for a lot of people. It's just the same way, the Kennedy assassination doesn't really hit the same for us as it does for somebody who was 22 years old watching that happen. You know what I mean? Or somebody who was 18 or 19 in the 80s and watching the Challenger explode. These are those national disasters of their time.
A lot of children watch the Challenger explode too.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
Yeah.
Weren't there kids there? Weren't there
Well, no. So there was a huge national push to get essentially the kids to see these rockets. We were doing so many then. It was happening so often.
Right.
So there was this huge push to get it aired and a TV in every classroom. So obviously not every classroom in the country got a television for this, but there was this huge initiative to make sure way more classes had way more TVs so that way more kids could see this. And it was the launch of, so to speak, pun unintended, the launch of that program to get kids to see this.
About joking?
Yeah, to get the kids to see this, and yeah.
No, I mean, 100% agree. And it was just a heavy moment. And I don't feel like at the time I appreciated the gravity of it, but looking back on some of this stuff again, I mean, we got way off track. I was talking about whether the terms fake and hoax and stuff like that.
Right.
Hoax. I mean, this actually happened. Like I said, we just had a 5-minute conversation about this actually happened. We watched it happen. We experienced it happen. But it didn't. Maybe it didn't happen for the reasons that we thought it did. That would be a hoax where it wasn't. It happened. The events took place, but under false pretense. Under
fool, but can't get fooled again.
Kind of, yeah. So the Gulf of Tonkin is a great example where we were we were patrolling off the coast of Vietnam one night. We had a boat out there, got a little too close to shore. They fired some warning shots and we backed off. We were like, oops.
Are we?
Yeah, but if it happens again, it's on. And they kept their distance. And in the fog one night, they said they saw a boat coming towards them that was...
It's coming right for us.
Get it. Get it. So they were concerned about that. And they radioed it in and got permission to attack. And they attacked. But after everything had been kicked into motion, they were like, actually, wait a second. We just kind of got lost in the sauce out there. There wasn't really a boat.
Yeah.
RB. And we were like, nope, we're in Vietnam now, boys.
Yeah.
And that's how
Get ready, motherfuckers.
Yeah. You guys hear Fortunate Son? It is on.
Oh my God.
And that's
written by a rich dude about rich people.
Yeah. I mean,
song.
Yeah, but it's, you know what I'm saying? So we weren't actually attacked, but that would be a hoax. That's a false flag. It happened, but not for the reason you think. It happened because it was a proxy war, and we wanted to get involved because we got to spend money somehow. So, I mean, another good example would be
It's
like
Michael Scott looking how to spend the last of the surplus at the end of the year.
yeah. Yeah, I mean, we got to do something.
Everybody wanted the copier, but he's like, no, we're going to Vietnam.
Exactly. Proxy war? Anybody? Proxy war?
Can I get you one? Large? Oh, yeah, large. You got it.
Yes. All right. So the second example I would use for like a false flag attack or a hoax like this would be Operation Northwoods, and this kind of fits right into the thick and veiny of all this. It was a quote unquote terrorist attack that was planned against Florida, and the plan was to blame Cuba. And this was in the early '60s that they came up with this. So, you know, the Joint Chiefs of Staff, the U.S. Joint Chiefs of Staff, which is like your higher ranking military guys, they're like, you know, they're like, well, we want to take these planes, we want to swap them in the air for drones, we want to crash the drones, we want to blame Cuba, that way we can invade Cuba. Kennedy was pretty much like, no, not letting that happen.
Not here, not now.
Right. And that's what started off the whole Kennedy CIA, well, not what started it off, but that you know,
Escalated.
yeah. So, you know, there's all this stuff that says, you know, it was a hoax, it was faked. So it definitely wasn't faked. It could have been a hoax. So again, we've all seen the footage. We'll cover a few of the puzzle pieces. The one I really want to start with is Dick Cheney, just because this is my own personal take. I mean, I've compiled a lot of information from other documentaries and stuff like that. I just I want to cover Dick Cheney because I feel like sometimes he gets looked over in all this. Because a lot of people say he was the president on 9/11 because George Bush was off doing his reading to kids thing and all that stuff. So Dick Cheney, he was a graduate of Yale, which the Bush family legacy was also graduates of Yale.
Skull and Bones!
Skull and Bones, who, you know, was Prescott Bush, George Herbert Walker Bush, George Herbert Walker, who was a friend of Prescott Bush, George W. Bush.
Get after him, so yeah.
And George W. Bush and John Kerry. You know, so those guys are all, you know, in the same groups.
Yeah.
You watch the JFK episode if you want to get a better list of the people who are involved. He was so Dick Cheney was the Secretary of Defense from 1989 to 1993 under the original George Bush the first.
Single term.
Yeah. Old one term.
Old one term Bush.
Here's a trick they taught us in the CIA. From 1995 to 2000, he served as the chairman of the board and CEO of Halliburton. Halliburton is an oil field services and equipment company, according to their Wikipedia.
Super altruistic company, I've heard.
Yeah, they're cool guys. They've been mired in controversy since they paid over $1 billion to litigants after being involved in the war in Iraq. They have locations in
What?
Yeah, no way, Jose. So they have locations in Venezuela, which is weird because they haven't had any weird like political uprisings lately.
No.
Iran, Iraq, Saudi Arabia, Kuwait, Pakistan, amongst many others. So all very even keeled areas that don't have any sort of unrest, areas that are definitely, you know,
Aren't involved in any civil or international wars.
and the United States definitely hasn't been poking their nose in there at all.
No way.
No.
They just been leaving a few thousand troops. Just like, where else are we going to put them?
Did I drop some troops? My mistake.
We'll get them out of here in 12, 14 years.
Tops. So they were also criticized in a lawsuit because they acquired Dresser Industries and were kind of criticized over the way they managed their financials when they did that. It was a little like, here's a set of books, and they were like, these are the books, and they were like, there's some books. Like these are
Those
these,
are books.
Yeah, are these the books for your business? Yeah, sure, why not? Fuck it. Like
They are books. Just
Yeah.
trust us. Slides 20 across table.
20,000 maybe.
Nope. That's the level we're operating at right here. It's a startup, motherfucker.
It's Dresser Industries. Come on. So before Dick Cheney became vice president, his worth was estimated to be between 19 million and 86 million. That's a pretty big window.
It's pretty good job to quit for a $120,000 salary, or probably less than that.
So the current VP right now makes $244,000 a year.
Mike Pence does.
Yeah. So $250,000 a year.
Yeah, you're not doing that.
Right. He retired from Halliburton.
Unless you get the power.
First you get the khakis.
Then you get the jobs.
Then you get the women.
Get the women.
So he retired from, he became VP. He was worth somewhere between $20 and $85 million, roughly, give or take.
That's a very big gap.
It's a big window, but like when you're a guy who doesn't like,
when your assets are
in the multiple millions, things lay in shell corporations. I don't know. Look up the Panama Papers. Maybe I'll do an episode on that because
I'll let you and I'll listen.
Because it's gonna piss you off because it pissed me off.
I'm gonna go home and watch cartoons.
Yeah, I want to watch cartoons. So he retired from Halliburton to the tune of approximately $34 million. According to PolitiFact, his salary and bonus and gross was $4.7 million. Roughly, he gave up a $4.7 million salary for less than a $250,000 government job.
But the power.
No, you got to think more altruistic. He's helping people. He's becoming vice president. He can affect change and help people.
I just imagine the purchase of so many velour robes. Just dark and ominous with like hoods, and he's like, "Yeah, Dick has the power." Mr. Cheney, you have a phone call.
Donald Rumsfeld walks up. Get it together. He had a deferred salary of just over $1 million, and a senior executive deferred compensation contributions of $650,000.
So he got. You're saying that after he left, he still got money.
This is his retirement package,
right? So he went to go make $200K, but he was getting almost $1 million a year still from Halliburton,
and he got 4.7 up front,
and he already had a net worth of $20+ million,
and he was getting compensations of over $500,000. And on May 15th, 2001, he also signed a second disclosure form that's supposed to update the August 2000 filing. So his salary and gross bonus was $821,896. His effective deferred salary was $400,000 in stock equivalents. The senior executive deferred compensation contributions were a little over $50,000. The elective deferred salary lump payout was like $1.2 million. Restricted stock imputed income was $7.5 million in stocks for that company. And the non-qualified stock option was it was about $22 million.
Can you imagine looking at your personal worth and having 2 commas in it?
Right. No.
I remember being like 19, being like, yo, I paid all my bills and there's still a comma in my checking account. Fucking balling right now.
I hope to see that someday. So I'm really banking on this show to take off and the Church of Hella to come through so I don't have to pay taxes.
Also, I haven't eaten for 3 weeks because I wanted to keep that comma. It's $1,000 and 1 penny.
Right. A lot of cup of noodles.
Come on, no service charges.
So yeah, it's kind of weird that he's got over $29 million in stocks in this company.
Yeah.
So I hope.
Okay, so $29 million and one good day on the market, those could be worth $60 million.
Well, I mean, for his sake, I hope they find a new place to drill for oil.
Yeah.
Because otherwise, those stocks are going to be worthless.
Yeah.
So again, I'm not saying this directly proves that Cheney did anything. This is just, some of his financial contributions from a company that got a contract to go drill in the Middle East after we waged war with them. I wouldn't leave a dope job for a little literal fraction of that payout.
And way more responsibility in public eye.
Yeah.
Like you're putting yourself, like you automatically become maybe the second most famous person in the world.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Especially at this time. Looking at the Halliburton stock, they were around 13.3, whatever that means. But
that means nothing to me.
that was in August of 2001. So just before the attacks. In June of 2014, they were at 71 points. So, like
a lot more.
7 times more or 6 times more.
Yay.
Yeah. So that
good thing I took these stocks.
Yeah, that $29 million in stocks would I mean, worth 7 times that amount now. That'd be awesome. I'd love that kind of money. I don't want to, kill 3,000 people to get it, but that'd be awesome to have.
Okay, so you don't want to kill 3,000 people, but you might.
But $20 is $20. So that again, it's just kind of a weird thing to think about. That he gave up all this money without having a security net there to say, hey, guaranteed, I'm gonna be cashing out fat. Because he took. I mean, that seems like a light payout for somebody who's clearing $34 million annually.
I mean, only to play devil's advocate.
Do it. No, I mean, please.
The logic states, why the fuck would you ever do it? But then we also state logic for the opposite is like, yo, I already have $80 million. I've been a CEO for this long. It's kind of a lot of work too. This vice president thing seems like it'll be a fucking ton of work as well, but there might be something there for me. Like maybe I could be president after this, like. I'm not speaking.
I understand what you're saying.
Yeah.
There's the option to grow and expand your career and gain more power and all that. Right. I get it. But he was already in the White House. You know what I mean? He was there. He was the Secretary of Defense. Yeah. I mean, he was George Bush Sr.'s Donald Rumsfeld.
Yeah. How many secretaries of defense have become president though?
I do not know. Probably none.
Probably, yeah, exactly. Like less than VP. That's
right.
Just to play devil's advocate.
No, I understand, but my point is that like he was already in the White House. He already had access to the power. So I feel like this was a step back in his career, and it's just a suspicious step backwards when he ended up cashing out on the backside of this national tragedy.
Yeah.
So again, there was missing money. On September 10th, 2001, Donald Rumsfeld held a press conference where he mentioned the Pentagon was missing approximately $2.3 trillion in transactions that weren't accounted for. So $2.3 trillion is a fucking lot of money.
Yeah.
That's a ludicrous amount of money.
Yeah.
That's
2 more commas.
That's an insane amount of money. And it's not like, well, we found it was misused by this department, or we found that it was sunk into this, or it's been propping up this part
of it. It's just like, yo, we don't know where this shit is at all.
Yeah, he was.
I don't know.
Yo, dude, how much do you got on you? How much do you have on you? Like, that's an insane amount of money. And it bums me out that it just can disappear like that. I have a few thoughts of where it went. But the Pentagon couldn't account for it. And this means a couple of things. First, it means the Pentagon is either that bad at bookkeeping that it lost financial records for over $2 trillion. And for perspective, if you're off on your taxes by a couple $100,
right?
Imagine all the fines and shit you get. A couple $100. And they're off by, more than a couple $1 billion. Like, that's insane to me. And second, this means that they have spent the money. They have no record of where it went. It could have gone to fund the military or Department of Homeland Security or anything like that. It could have been used to fund the CIA while they're off overthrowing governments around the world.
The Raiders' new stadium, you could have built it 2,200 times.
2,200.
$1.6 billion stadiums.
That's fucking obscene, dude.
Yeah.
That is obscene.
Because when you think about it like that, like trillion just sounds like it's just like a tiny bump up from a billion.
Yeah, no, it's
not.
It's
1,000 billions.
Yeah, that's.
But like in your, like when you're not really like it's
more
like,
than double Jeff Bezos' net worth.
Yeah. It's like thinking about like the history of time. You can't possibly even. It's not possible
or like
for you to grasp
distance in space.
Yeah. Like your brain literally can't give you a realistic expectation of what that time is and feels like it. And that amount of money is the same exact. Even Bezos is like 2.7 trillion. Oh, I want it so bad.
I'm gonna start again. 1, 2, 3.
That was a good evil genius laugh.
Thanks, man. That's my best Jeff Bezos. Yeah. So I also think the 2.3 trillion could have been used to outfit like a new government agency or like update an old government agency. Like take that, infuse all this money into
Imagine
it.
if we had that for Space Force.
I mean, we would own the moon.
Mars would just now be in our orbit.
See,
You guys want to go to Mars? We'll take the freeway. It's cool.
I just see a spaceship pulling it with a rope, like the Planet Express.
I was just
ship.
gonna say it would have to be the Planet Express. I feel like.
So yeah, I mean, it could have been used to outfit the NSA with the sort of technology required to, I don't know, say spy on
America?
U.S. citizens. Yeah, because and that's a weird one because why would you equip a defense agency to spy on its people? That would be insane and illegal unless on October 26, 2001, so a month and a half after the worst terrorist attack on U.S. soil.
Guys, we got to sign this. We need it in law. This is to protect you. Trust us.
Never
dude.
let a good crisis go to waste.
This is like, of all the people that should be wanting this, it's you guys.
Yeah.
Trust us. Trust us. Just look at me. Look me in the eyes. America.
Look here.
Mira. Aquí. Trust us. Trust us.
Yeah. Like, I just think it's again a weird coincidence that we're like, hey, we're missing $2.3 trillion. Oh shit! Everything exploded. Fuck.
When the next day.
Just now, like it just happened. What were we talking about before? I don't know, man. Everything fucking exploded. and then they're like, oh, by the way, we got all these laws we got to pass. Well, how are we gonna fund them? Don't fucking worry about it.
The money will be there.
These
There's always money in the banana stand.
So, it's just weird. So a month and a half after the worst terrorist attack on U.S. soil, the U.S. passed the Patriot Act in the wake of 9/11 and everyone being afraid of terrorists and all the fiercely pro-American propaganda that was being spit out.
God damn, if you were an American flag manufacturer in October of 2001, you've probably since retired to fucking Florida and are enjoying life. Enjoy Florida, man, too.
They all said made in China.
Yeah, that is true. They still do.
I know. But I mean, we gave the government the ability to watch and listen to everything that we have to say. But it's keeping us from terrorists.
What's up, Mark?
Yeah, Mark. Shout out, Mark. So it's kind of invading our privacy. And when people are like, oh, but if you haven't done anything wrong, you don't have anything to be afraid of, except literally being watched. Like,
Yeah.
and having everything I say or write be inspected. Like, I don't like that. It's not that I'm doing anything wrong. It's just, fuck you. I like my privacy.
But I'm doing stuff wrong. I don't want them looking.
Well,
You know what I'm saying?
it's like, don't worry. So I'm in the shower. Like, I don't need somebody standing there watching me. If somebody just posted up in the doorway of the bathroom watching me shower. Hey, they're like, hey, if you're not cranking down, it doesn't matter. You shouldn't have a problem with it. You're just showering. Go on. Soap up. Like, no, fuck you, dude. That's my space. So I know, Eddie, I have it actually written as Flo Rida in here. I just forgot to pronounce it like that. Your FBI agent's name is Yef. So Rumsfeld announces that the money's missing. Less than 24 hours later, 2 planes hit the World Trade Center, and nobody even remembers.
It was less than 2 hours after the announcement?
Less than 24 hours.
24 hours.
Because it was September 10th when they made the announcement. It was like September 10th in the afternoon. So, and this happened the 11th in the morning. So, it's just mighty convenient. You know what I mean?
We'll put a boot in your ass. It's the American way.
Absolutely. And that's the kind of shit I'm talking about. That stuff was just piled on. Big year for country music, unless you were the Dixie Chicks.
Or you were Lee Greenwood.
Yeah.
That's who that guy fucked for a non-country music star
Yeah.
that year, dude.
Dude, the Dixie Chicks messed up. They were like, George Bush is not a cool guy. And they
Should have just done a rendition of Proud to Be an American.
They Sinead O'Connor'd that picture and got booed off the stage. They lost their careers. And you know what?
They're back, though. They're back. They're doing all right, I heard.
But you know what? We should have listened. We should have listened.
Hey, man.
Just like we should have listened to Sinead O'Connor about the Catholic Church. Church of Hella doesn't molest anybody.
Should have listened to Brendan Fraser.
Should have.
Shout out, Brendan Fraser. We know you're watching. Thank you.
Much love, bro.
Big ups. Let us come out to the ranch sometime.
I'll be honest, I don't share the meme of you with the bloodshot eyes looking all sad. I don't share that one.
I keep that one to reflect sometimes and just realize that, like, Brendan Fraser overcame, so I can overcome.
What can Brendan do for you? So there was a program called Able Danger. It appears to be a U.S. intelligence operation that in 1999 identified 3 separate terrorist cells in the United States, including one that contained Mohammed Atta, one of the 9/11 hijackers. They used what's called data mining, and basically they were using information gathered through the public domain and crossing it against classified information to get a better view of who they're looking at.
They were looking at everybody's Zanga pages.
I mean, seriously, they were looking like at your Google search history because that's publicly available.
Yeah, but 01 was when did Google launch?
95,
Okay, all right.
96.
Okay, good for
I
them.
think.
Good for them. Your fucking live journal.
Yeah.
Oh man, they got everything on my Zanga and my live journal.
This guy just updated his MySpace.
Dang it.
I think MySpace was around then.
I didn't get a MySpace till after high school. I don't think.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I don't think that. I mean, it might have been around, but I don't.
Maybe it wasn't. That's the 01 does seem a bit early.
Yeah. I mean, YouTube was 05.
Yeah.
Like I went through all of high school, and you went to Break or StupidVideos.com. That was where the funny shit was.
Break.com.
Yeah.
Or eBombs World.
Yeah, I mean, same idea though. Like
Yeah.
you went to Break,
Board.com.
you went to yeah. I mean, Stupid Videos was like I liked that because it also had some Flash games and yeah. Those were the. There was no YouTube.
Yeah. No,
It's
there
crazy
wasn't.
to think about a world.
Yeah. Remember the little stick figure fighter guys that you had to control and all that? Those guys ruled.
I miss Flash games a lot.
Yes.
I need to go back, play like some balloons.
Flash is discontinued. You can't.
No!
As of 5 days ago.
Yeah, it still works though, just no updates.
Oh. So nobody update Homestar Runner.
Wasn't a big fan, but I get it.
It was there.
It was there, and I
Same
appreciate
crowd.
it. Yeah.
So along with Able Danger, they used it to keep. It was being used to keep tabs on different people in terrorist groups and stuff like that. It sounds a lot like what the NSA does now with the Patriot Act and how they are, using your information to get a better view of who you are. Well, you said this many code words that triggered the things, so you got to all that shit.
Well, we know somebody who worked inside the NSA.
Yeah.
We don't have to give any descriptors or
No,
anything.
no.
But they told us some stuff that
Yeah.
is like known shit. It's not like classified information or anything, but it's just stuff that you don't think about, and you're like there are some people's jobs to take targeted and just listen.
Yeah.
Just listen. Just
Yeah.
check in. Like you got this. There really are some people.
Once more, shout out, Mark.
They're probably, you would hope, leaders of criminal organizations or terrorists or whatever. People, I'm hoping they're not dudes who are like Greg, who are just typing in too many keywords into Google, but I don't fucking know.
Cut to me just typing keywords in all the keywords just for fun.
The, and, if, are.
Now that I have your attention, fuck you, leave me alone.
Yeah, it's wild. It's wild to think about that there are just some people's job is just to listen and then be like, oh, I heard this, cap that, send it up the ladder. I don't know who listens to it after this or what they do with it, but my job is to listen to the chatter.
It's going in your file. Before the 9/11 Commission finalized its report, this Able Danger information was given to them. Like they said, hey, look, we had this information on these guys before, in mid 2000, and the 9/11 Commission was like, you know what, this is not of any real historical significance. So it was omitted from the report, and there's no information about Able Danger being in there.
Seems like you should just not omit anything. You should just have boxes upon boxes of every piece of information you were ever possibly given about it.
I 100% agree.
Because what if, I don't know.
But what if that information says, hey, we knew this was going to happen. We knew we were watching these people that were going to do it, and we didn't do it. We didn't act on it. So we dropped the ball. We're supposed to be this all-knowing, all-great superpower, and we shit the bed.
Yeah. I mean, guys, listen. It's better to just admit when you're wrong and learn from your mistakes.
I agree. But this guy provided the information, said, or these two top military brass dudes who were running the operation were like, hey, here's the information. And they were like, yeah, we don't need it. Never mind. Just keep going. And it's shitty because you're not compiling all the information. Now you're shaping a narrative. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You're not leaving the information. We can move on a little bit to the Pentagon.
Which is shaped like a pentagram.
It is.
Yeah.
Like, have you seen the roads around? Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I like it. It's metal.
Yeah. Washington, D.C. got a little cooler. That and the fact that the Washington Monument looks like a giant dong.
And the building at the center of it used to be a Taco Bell.
At the center of the Washington Monument?
No, at the Pentagon.
Oh.
That like center
Oh,
was
really?
for the longest time it was a Taco Bell.
Huh. Okay, so that makes this a little bit funnier. I was not this, but when I was researching this, I was watching a video about how they were talking about renovating the Pentagon and doing upgrades to the structure, and
I don't know if you heard this. We got hit by an airplane.
well, no, it was before all that,
Oh, okay.
and they were talking because when it was built, I want to say around one of the world wars. Can't remember which one, but steel was in short supply, so it was a lot of reinforced concrete, and they were like, we're going to upgrade that, and so they had done a section of it, and it was like 6 days away from being completed when this happened. But when they were talking about doing all the renovations, like in 1990 was when they started planning all this shit, and they have a model, and they were talking about a plane becoming crashed into it, and in the middle, in the very center of the Pentagon, they had a model plane all destroyed sitting there, like in the center of it. And that made, you said it's Taco Bell, and it made me think of Moe's Bar. Oh dear God, no. But so they've talked about, renovating and reinforcing and building this thing up. So the Phoenix Project was a name given to the project to repair the damage to the Pentagon caused when American Airlines Flight 77 crashed into the building during September 11, 2001. That's what they say happened. The project's goal was to reoccupy their outermost ring and of the rebuilt section by September 11th, 2002. So they were put a 1-year deadline on it to get it rebuilt. It was beat by an actual month. They finished it in August 15th, 2002. So they rebuilt it. The project entailed the complete demolition and reconstruction of the C, D, and E rings in the area and the boundary between the recently renovated Wedge 1 and the unrenovated Wedge 2.
Isn't the Pentagon built sort of like the Winchester Mystery House? It was like this big, and then they just built around it, and then around it, and then around it.
I don't know.
Okay.
I mean, seems like something I should know if I'm going to be doing this, but
I just was curious.
Yeah, I don't really know. I mean, it probably.
Okay.
That would make sense to just keep expanding rather than building upward.
Yeah.
They probably went the opposite way and dug down. No, dig up, stupid. And the phrase "let's roll," as spoken by Todd Beamer from United Flights 93, was adopted as the project's slogan and displayed prominently on the building's exterior wall.
Did you know we have a Todd Beamer Park here in town?
We do?
Yep. It's right up the street, actually.
Really?
There's a skate park there. Yep.
Oh, I get it. Let's roll. It's a skate park. Fucking A, dude. So the Navy build-out project is located in the basement of Wedge 4 and consists of approximately 30,000 square feet of occupiable space. Not a huge deal in and of itself, but demolition and abatement of this space was completed November 2001. So that, to me, says we've got this giant section of our government's national defense building that's been crashed into by an airplane, allegedly. And while we're at it, we're just going to go ahead and add to the rubble by demolishing another big chunk of the building so we can just start renovating. Does that seem like a good idea to you?
I mean, also devil's advocate. It's
please.
It's like, well, shit. If let's say I was going to remodel my kitchen.
And a car drives
next
into the
summer,
side of your
and then
house.
a car drove into the side of my house, it'd be like, yeah, we're ripping that whole fucking wall down, and we're starting the kitchen remodel today, baby.
I get it. I understand that. But what if when people came to check out the car that drove into your house and you're trying to get your insurance involved and all that, nobody believed that there was a car there. There was no evidence of a car.
Yeah.
Like, a car just drove in through your wall, and there's no
Drove
evidence of
away.
it. Yeah, and then was gone.
Just
And then
Ricky Bobbied out of there.
no vapor, bongo feed it out of there, and just vaporized, and it's gone.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's what happened here. So it's weird. It just seems like a bad idea at the time to do that. But I mean, a month after the worst national terrorist attack ever on our soil, it's like, maybe don't be awarding contracts to construction.
Seems like bad timing.
Yeah, it seems
At
like
the very least, seems like bad timing.
it seems cold. I guess, but again, like the Donald Rumsfeld thing, just kind of hide things in the chaos. That's
Why waste a good...
yeah. Don't let a good crisis go to waste.
yeah.
Exactly. In New York City, 9:37 a.m. Is when the Boeing 757 hit the Pentagon.
So we for sure, like, we wouldn't have even gone into school. You said 104 minutes later?
102.
102. So,
Well, no, this was the Pentagon.
No, I know. Oh, okay. Was that the first strike?
No.
Okay.
No.
So it was even earlier.
Yeah.
Okay.
It was earlier. But hits the same department that was under investigation for losing the $2.3 trillion. Allegedly, again.
Curious.
I've seen that come up a few times in like different documentaries and different sources, but there's never been like it was this defense or it was this department that was missing this much money, and they were like, here's a map of where this department is inside the Pentagon, and here's the map of overlaid.
That would be a really good rumor to get launched if it weren't true. That would get some bites.
And getting people looking the wrong direction and stuff like that. And that's hey man, misinformation is strong.
America is officially built on it.
Yeah. 100%.
Like, if it wasn't 10 years ago, it is now.
20 years ago.
Yeah.
20 years ago. So I just feel like that it's worth mentioning because it is weird if it's big if true.
I can't believe we're coming up on 20 years.
I know. So the Boeing 757 that hit the Pentagon allegedly was 155 feet long, 44 feet high, and 124 feet wide, and weighed almost 100 tons.
So big.
Fucking huge.
Like something that maybe like an amateur pilot might not be able to operate with such ease. And
well, before even all that, just looking at the actual like damage, the hole that it left in the building
is mysteriously missile-sized.
16 feet across.
Yeah. 16
feet across.
It broke up in the atmosphere. Oh wait, that's not a good excuse.
Yeah. So there was a 757 that was
So I mean that's like off the top of my head, like 75-80% reduction in its width.
Yeah.
Like it was 125.
Yeah,
when 140.
when the building the area around that hole collapsed, it was 75 feet.
Okay.
So even still, it's not 124 feet.
Right.
It's
60% of that.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's after the collapse. So it's weird. It's strange. It doesn't fit. And that's according to the ASCE Pentagon building report. This was the size of that. It was the size of the 75-foot hole after the collapse. Let's see. I actually think I have. Throw this up over here. Push this button here. Oh, nope. Push this button here. And
so small.
That's one of the inner rings.
Like after it already passed through.
That's the 75-foot gap.
After the collapse.
After the collapse. Really?
There's some boots. He looks so young.
Yeah, look at the size of the debris left over on the lawn, though. I mean, it's small. There's no...
Yeah, like you said, like it would have had to have like vaporized.
Yeah, there you go. There's a picture of it. You show me 144 foot or 124 foot.
727?
757.
757. I've never even flown in a plane that big.
There's right there.
Yeah.
I mean, So that's just that's the aftermath. There's a lot of pictures where you look at it from above. So basically, according to the same report, you don't see any damage in the building because the wings sheared off when it made contact with the structural support beam of the Pentagon. One of the wings sheared off when that happened. The other wing sheared off when hit the ground.
So first wing gets ripped off as it hits the ground. Second wing is sheared off as it hits the building right here.
Yeah.
So where's the wing? Where's this 50-foot long wing?
Yeah, I mean,
does like, okay, so there's a commission that's out to get all the answers on this. Is there like a computer generated simulation as to maybe I'm putting you on the spot to find it, but
yeah, there's tons of those out there.
okay.
But so looking at these pictures, I mean, it's a little small on my screen here, but you can see it better over there. Like, there's nothing that really shows a plane. Like,
No, and out of my own curiosity, I've looked at
this
these
is
photos.
obviously afterwards because they've got shit hung up.
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
and they do show simulations where, because basically this guy made like an incredible turn, and it was like 130 degrees at full speed in one of these planes. Like, it should have kind of broken apart because
played Microsoft Flight Simulator, and it's just not plausible.
it's not designed to go that fast. You know what I mean? And so this guy hits this 130-degree turn and then brings it in 15 feet off the ground over a highway right into the side of the Pentagon. Like, even a professional pilot, even your fucking Top Gun Mach 3 guys, like, I don't know.
I mean, it's a 757.
Right, it's not a fighter jet.
You can only be such a good pilot to do, like.
It's like trying to drift in a big rig. Like, that one guy in Russia can do it, but what are the odds that everybody else can? So, but when you do find the right pictures, because I thought I had them in here, otherwise I would have. But there's no big gash on the lawn. There's where you would see a giant Rolls Royce engine smash into the ground when it got ripped off the wing of a plane.
Yeah.
It took out 5 light poles. There were 5 like knockdown light poles on the flight path towards the Pentagon. That was it. And like, okay. There was a 757 that took off from an airport that clipped a light pole and it grounded the flight. They were like, no, you can't. And it just, and like hit it with its wing, and that was it.
Yeah.
And it like damaged the wing. It ripped into the wing and all this shit. And they were like, no, you're staying.
Yeah.
New plane. So it's, I don't know. It's just like, it seems like a shitty excuse. Oh, everything hit the ground. Well, fucking did it really? Again, look
Eddie wants a dunk.
Oh, look at that. That's your face, though. Yep. Oh, yeah.
I was hoping that's not what that meant.
I was hoping that's exactly what that meant. Hello, Teeth Rattler. How are you? Welcome to the show. Jesse's,
No legs.
You got no legs?
No.
Lieutenant Dan. Hey. Off the backboard and in.
The Dwight Howard style. I didn't want to break the backboard.
It was looking good.
Thank you.
It was looking good.
Thanks.
Back to 9/11.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding. There's no fucking easy way to do this. No, don't worry about it. Okay, thanks, Eddie.
Here, alley.
Oh, no. Okay, all right.
Good recovery. I wasn't able to put a lot of loft on it. The ceiling.
I got it. All right. Somebody clip those for me.
Please.
So yeah, like looking at this crash, it's so stupid. It's like showing up to a murder and they've clearly been stabbed to death, and the coroner's like, "Yo, they were hit by a car." There's no evidence of a car. There's no nothing. There's no evidence of a plane. There's only pieces of wreckage that guys in suits were hand carrying out. They were like out there with their fucking sport coats off and their sleeves rolled up and their ties clipped to the side and shit, stuffed in their shirt pocket, and like carrying chunks of an American Airlines tail that just happened to have the tail number on it. Well, fuck, that's convenient.
Yeah.
Like,
it's the only thing that didn't break apart. Also, we found these passports.
yeah. Oh, dude,
I know.
that irritates me so much. So, we'll move past this a little bit. The Pentagon had cameras spread out across the perimeter of the building. On the side that was struck, there were at least 3. We get one video of the incident, and it's out of 83 cameras. There were 83 cameras that were kind of pointed in that direction, like from various buildings. Like you said, the gas station across the street that had.
That was like the one that had like a clear, perfect view of the lawn where a plane would have collided.
Yeah, and I mean why? Why not show us? If that's what happened, why not show us? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It seems like they're missing out. It seems like they could put a lot of this shit to rest, but they don't. The video we did get was 5 frames long, and there's nothing even resembling a 757 on any of those frames. There's a clear background, something coming into the frame, but it's blurry. You can't tell what it is. It's just white. Something in the middle of the frame, something in the building, big explosion. There's your 5 frames. That's all you need to see.
Floaty boy.
Yeah. So the base assumption was that a 757 executed a 130-degree turn at full speed and came in 15 feet off the ground, perfectly level and right into the side of the Pentagon.
Like nearly landing, because the Pentagon's 3 floors tall, 2 floors tall.
Yeah, that's why I said 15 feet off the ground.
Yeah.
15 feet. Like, so it's crazy. It's stupid. And let's see. Yeah, the pilot who he was reportedly a terrible flight student too. He couldn't control his Cessna, but he hit that 130-degree turn in 757, brought it in at ground level, right into the side of the Pentagon. Not the top. You know what I mean? You didn't bring it straight down from the top. Like they showed in the Moe's Bar thing that they had going on with the Taco Bell there. Oh dear God, no. So not only was he able to pull off this move, he was able to maintain enough speed to vaporize the airplane passengers, luggage, and even the engines of the plane.
Right, because like you see a terrible car accident where the car just was clearly burning at 1,000 fucking degrees and everything inside burned, and like what's left are bones and an engine.
Yeah,
like that. You know.
Yeah,
that's.
But this, I mean, it vaporized everything. It only moved through 2 walls of the Pentagon, though.
And left all the grass green that it passed through.
Yeah. There's no major gouge in the lawn or anything like that. But less than 2 hours before, the same type of plane hit both World Trade Centers and almost exited the other side. This thing only got through 2 rings. There was a lady named April Gollop who crawled through the hole carrying her son. She was an employee at the Pentagon, and she it was in the side of the building that got hit, and she crawled out of the hole carrying her son.
Huh.
She said she didn't see anything that looked like a plane. Huh. It wasn't like, there was a burning plane right there, and she was like, "Oh shit!" And like,
yeah, it was like there's just a hole.
Yeah, there was a hole there, and she said when she was in the hospital, people were like, "That's not what that." You were kind of freaked out a little bit. You need to. It was a plane. Clearly, it was a plane, and she was like, "Oh, okay." Like it was. Sure, it was a plane. I don't know, because she didn't see anything.
Right.
But it was hot enough to vaporize a plane and everybody inside it. But that lady could crawl out with her baby. So, crazy.
Right.
Like that.
She should have been vaporized.
You see what I'm seeing? Like, this shit makes no sense. Like all these conflicting stories, and I think that maybe part of it is to put this much bullshit out there and that much bullshit out there and wait till those clouds of bullshit get so big that they start overlapping and you can't even see the sky anymore. That's no, I'm not saying that they purposely set up a crash scene. I'm saying that maybe there was something other than a 757 that hit the Pentagon. Because we have no evidence of anything everything was being carried out by hand, so there wasn't a plane. Like, okay, I get it. If a plane catches on fire and it burns, if it's allowed to just burn at its hottest, fine. Like, I feel like the engine would still be there because that's what's burning everything.
There is no feel like. It would still be there. There's nothing. There's
Right.
no fire from any accident that's burning hot enough to burn down an engine block.
Right. So pulling, at least not by the fuel that it's using. So like if you have like a Honda Civic and you're putting jet fuel in it to race it, that probably is not. It'll probably destroy your engine block. But jet fuel in a jet engine is not going to melt a jet engine. Like that, by design, it should not melt a jet engine.
Right.
So for it to be completely vaporized with them not pulling these giant 15-foot Rolls-Royce engines out. I mean, the hole in the building was the size of these jet engines. You know, the ones that suck people up off the runway and shit?
Yeah.
Those. Like, oh, I'll get to the steel beams. There's some shit that bothers me. A little bit else that bothers me is Building 7. It's not talked about as much, but there was a plane that flew into the side of the building a few hours after the other two were hit. That's not true. That's not true at all. Building 7 fell on its own. In fact, there's a lot of speculation as to why Building 7 came down. It was hit with debris from the first two towers collapsing and caught fire somehow on the 10th floor. And the sprinkler system was disabled due to a break in the water main because of the collapse of the first two towers. The fires were on lower floors and were allowed to burn for approximately 7 hours. The heat from the fires caused the floor beams to expand, causing failures throughout the building. And that's weird that a localized fire, like over here on this big long building, would cause the whole thing to just... Whew.
Also, just really quickly, this is not from like a 9/11 site. These are two from science.
From science.
Jet fuel burns at around 1890 degrees. Mm-hmm. I'm sure you might have something in here, but I'm just, for my own sake right now, I need to know this.
Okay.
And steel melts somewhere around 2,750 degrees. These are obviously both Fahrenheit numbers. Almost, 50% hotter.
Yeah.
And that's at its hottest. Jet fuel doesn't just burn at 1890. That's
right.
as hot as it possibly can burn in open air.
So just
in a vacuum, it can burn hotter.
Just for fun, look up thermite. See what thermite burns at. Because they use thermite torches or thermite to cut through steel beams and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. So, you use your science sites and
4,000 degrees.
4,000 degrees.
Yes.
So plenty hot enough to just melt right through a steel beam.
Yes, but how much thermite would you need, and what type of reaction would it cause to melt an entire engine down, airplane engine down?
Well,
is what I'm I'm still on that. Is
right.
It like there were 757 means there were 5 gigantic fucking 15-foot long engines. Mm-hmm. Yeah, now you might be able to sell me on one was fucking vaporized. This crazy hot fire came between the centrifugal force and the weakening of the joints, and this thing is fucking nowhere to be found.
Yeah, there were chunks and stuff that they found, but one of the pictures that they showed had, they were like, "Yep, this is one of the Rolls-Royce engines that was found from the Pentagon." And if you look around the edges, it's got there's a place where there's a ceiling ring that sits, and it's got round holes all the way around. And when you look at the schematics for all the Rolls-Royce engines of that model that would be on that model plane,
doesn't have that. It
has them, but they're recessed in a teardrop shape so that the ceiling ring seats. And this doesn't have those teardrop shapes, so it's either outdated or a different model. It's not the same thing. So
yeah, it's
weird. But yeah, with Building 7, the column 79 across, they've got them all numbered across the building, and column 79 buckled, and that's what it kind of had a pancake effect to it. I'm a little skeptical, but it has to have happened before, right? And all the history of all the buildings that have collapsed, that's got to be a thing that happened, right? It's called progressive fire collapse, according to NIST, which is the agency who did a 3-year study on Building 7. In fact, the first instance of a fire-induced progressive collapse was in Building 7. So this is the first time that's ever happened, which fucking weird. So for the fires had to be hot enough to weaken the steel supports, right? So, you gave us the numbers. They've, according to FEMA, generally high-rise fires burn at 593 degrees Celsius or 1,100 degrees Fahrenheit, which is still not hot enough.
Right. I think if I remember correctly, the last podcast guys explained the
fuel,
the paper theory.
right?
Yeah.
Right. According to them, the fire weakened the floor was compromised, the column gave way, the roof buckled. You can kind of see a few windows go out, but then the whole thing almost comes straight down. A lot of people say it looks like a controlled demolition, but like a sloppily done controlled demolition.
Like one put together in less than 24 hours.
Like, hey, make it look good, but don't make it look too good. Like, we don't want to hurt anybody, just bring the building down, make it look like it fell.
Yeah.
It buckled across the roof line and came almost straight down. So I've got a few different videos here to show. After this ad.
Lovely advertisement.
Yeah. So here's some buildings coming
Jesus
down.
Christ. Oh my God.
Oops. Like, people, they can bring these things down with incredible
I was
precision.
going to say that was such precision.
Let's see.
Springfield? You ever seen the one where the building's coming down, the rock
Yeah.
flies by the guy's
There's a
head?
subreddit for that called Don't Flinch. Yeah.
Fuck that, I flinch.
Oh, yeah. Let's see.
Is that a grain silo?
Yeah, there's a couple of those.
I always like how those do the walk.
Yeah.
I remember like watching some guys destroy shit and say like to get a telescope is crazy rare. They always try to get it to walk down.
Yeah.
Ah, dang. That's the Colts old stadium, forget what it's called, because that's Lucas Oil right next to it.
Let's see. Where is the one? Here's a good example. Right there. See how it just buckles and comes straight down in on itself?
This one's cool, all the charges.
Yeah.
What a job.
Oh, whoops.
Or hell yeah.
But I mean,
One or the other.
that's, clearly clearly they have they can bring them in on their own footprints. They can, you know what I mean? Like they drop them in a safe manner.
Yeah, they implode, they don't explode.
Exactly. This is a building that collapsed due to structural failure and not
Oh, those are like giant glass panels.
mhm.
Fuck.
But look how it falls. See how there's pieces still left up across the back.
Yeah.
The supports are still there. It didn't come straight down. It fell to the
It
side.
didn't completely fall.
Right. It fell where it was weak.
Yeah.
The rest of it maintained because the rest of it gave way. It's not enough to pull itself down.
That was a wild little clip right there.
Yeah. It is pretty crazy. And then I've got the video of Building 7 coming down. And this is the official video of Building 7 coming down.
You know, it's from the National Institute of Standards and Practices.
Yeah.
New York City, 2001. No tall building had ever collapsed primarily due to fire. But that's exactly
You can see the
what
windows breaking out on the left
investigators
side.
believe happened
Yeah.
to the 47-story World Trade Center Building 7 on September 11th. According
That
to
looks
a
nothing
3-year
like a structural
comprehensive
failure.
building and fire
There was
safety
nothing like
investigation
standing
just
up
completed by the
afterwards. It
National
didn't
Institute of
topple where it was
Standards and
weak. It
Technology,
didn't like, I
or
mean,
NIST.
so
World Trade Center 7 collapsed.
I'll say this. Sure, we'll assume it was a structural failure. And you would think if it's all stacked like this and then one side breaks over here, the whole thing's going to topple that way and then continue its way down, like in the one that I showed you that was a structural failure.
Not like you're closing a telescope.
Yeah, it's not going to drop flat in on itself. Well, they said this is the first time that that's ever happened. Like, come on, dude. Like,
It's no precedent.
it just seems, I don't like it.
I'm with you. I mean, I'd be curious to just like watch this. I'd be curious to watch like engineers talk about it, not like, no offense, dudes on the internet.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I want to hear what engineers have to say. I want to hear. What,
I get it.
Yeah, yeah. Like, and if you know, if it's split, it's like it could happen like that. You know?
Well, and that's what that was. NIST is the one who said that could happen.
Okay.
And that was their report and their video on how it happened.
Okay. So I'm gonna look at this. I've never seen that.
I'll send you the links because, I mean, it's there's videos of people saying, no, there's no fucking way that could ever happen. And there's videos of,
I mean, not to bring it too topical for right now, but like, there's a lot of people who think they know more than doctors and scientists right now. Like,
I know. But what I'm saying is it's other scientists.
Yeah. Okay.
It's not dudes like me. It's other scientists
That's
out there
fair.
saying, no, look, because this is why. And there's no precedent and there's no reason for it to happen like this. Actual architects and engineers, smart people much smarter than I.
Right.
And then, like, I mean, even looking at the World Trade Centers, the way those two imploded on themselves, they both came straight down as well. They didn't topple. They didn't. And I mean, those things are fucking 100+ stories. Those things came straight down in their own feet print.
Right.
And when you look at the pictures of the wreckage afterwards, you can see the cut beam. Like, what beam is going to break clean like that?
See, I don't know. I'd want to, I want the engineers to say like, well, in this breakage situation, that's how it would cleave because of the way that steel is, folded and formed,
So these buildings, the way they were built, like most high-rise buildings
it had the center beam, right?
This building did.
Yeah.
It was structured. It was in an effort to create more floor space. It was a center column of beams stacked up, and then it was built out from the middle.
Yeah.
And then, it had its face on it. Everything else was like columns throughout to make it stronger.
Yeah.
At the time when they built it, they said it could withstand a 707, which is the biggest plane that they had at the time.
Right.
Okay. I mean, that should have still somewhat applied and you would expect, again, so if you've got a structure like this, if you've got a Jenga tower or a Lego tower that's built like this, and you break one side of it and then destroy the middle part, or when you're cutting a tree and you cut the wedge out of one side, it's going to fall that way because there's no support there. It's not going to just implode on itself and drop straight down.
Yeah.
Even if it does, it's going to go to a certain point and then it's going to tip. It's going to shift. You can't. How many times have you tried to drop a deck of cards straight down and have them stack up?
Right.
And how many times has it ever landed perfect when the cards weren't brand new?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's just it doesn't make enough sense. And so they found traces of thermite dust. They found, thermite in the asbestos in the World Trade Center towers. And that's the thing. Those things were fucked. They had bad plumbing. They had asbestos in the walls.
I think a lot of people don't realize how old those buildings were.
They were completed in 1972.
Yeah, like that. I mean, at the time, they're 40-year-old skyscrapers, which it's not old in the sense of, but they weren't. 72 is pre-asbestos, is like, it's still a widely used.
Yeah.
And building practices changed a lot in 40 years, like you said, with the columns and the building of new ones.
And they did that to increase floor space was their purpose.
Right. It wasn't to be more efficient in building manners. It was like, we can get more rent, bitch.
Exactly. We can put more people in here. So maybe not necessarily thinking of people's best interest, but those things were they were in disrepair. They needed, the electrical wasn't great. The elevators stopped working. Like, you got these big, giant, fucking expensive.
That's a tough building to take the stairs to the top on.
Homer did it.
Yeah, it's true.
Twice.
Yep. He had a lot of crab colosh in his stomach too.
He looks down and sees the fucking ticket. Ow. So, looking at the shape that the buildings were in, having to go through, say, state of New York is like, all right, You gotta replace all the asbestos. People are starting to get sick. What do? Like, I mean, that's literally 100 plus floors. How many thousand square feet or cubic feet, because you're insulating, of asbestos you have to remove, sanitize the area, re-insulate.
It's like a 15-year project.
At best.
Yeah.
I mean, and then you've got the whole complex that you have to do.
Right.
So, what a smart businessman like Larry Silverstein did was insure him in July of 2001. just before.
It's like, where's your wife? I don't know. Well, it's just that we noticed you took out this incredibly large life insurance policy on her yesterday.
And it covers drowning, and she drowned.
And you guys were at the lake, am I mistaken? Yeah, yep, she just walked off while we were at the lake.
He made sure to include acts of terror in his insurance policy.
Well,
so he had it insured for about $7 billion, about $3.5 billion.
You're like, for $2.3 trillion.
For each tower was $3 billion, 3.5. So it was about $7 billion total.
Which even still seems like too much. Like, I don't know. I don't know what a fucking skyscraper costs, but like, I guess I'm thinking like building costs. Like, because I'm thinking about like super advanced stadiums that they're building now that seat 100,000 people. Those are the Raiders one was 1.6. Yeah, that was the most expensive one they've built so far.
Right, but what I'm saying is, he insured this, but he did it for each building. So it wasn't, hey, if building 1 gets hit, I get $3.5 billion, or if the whole thing comes down, I get $3.5 billion. It's if building 1 gets hit, I get 3.5. Building 2 gets hit, I get 3.5. Building 7 goes down, I get whatever I get from that. So he had the insurance policy taken out on these. With all the problems with the asbestos and everything like that, I mean, tear them down and build one building, one manageable building. And, if you don't want to incur the demolition costs and all that, just, tell your local government and they'll fucking tear it down for you at the expense of 3,000 lives in a forever war.
Oof.
Like, so it's what kills me about Building 7 is this right here.
World Trade Center 7 had always been considered the starting point for rebuilding. Located north of the slurry wall, 7 had been cleared faster than the rest of the site, and there had been no bodies to recover.
Is that because everybody had been evacuated?
Yeah.
Pelted by debris when the North Tower collapsed, 7 burned until late afternoon, allowing occupants to evacuate to safety.
I remember getting a call from the fire department commander telling me that they were not sure they were going to be able to contain the fire. And I said, we've had such terrible loss of life. Maybe the smartest thing to do is pull it. And they made that decision to pull, and then we watched the building collapse.
It's wild.
So what that means is, when they say, like, the official report that says, hey, the building collapsed because of structural damage.
I'm a TurboTax Live expert.
No.
Ready to assess even the most unique tax situations.
Can I deduct this player?
Trying to start the Church of Hella so I don't have to pay taxes. But what that means is that they got everybody out, obviously, thankfully, but they made the decision to bring the building down. They demolished that building. So the official report says, well, it collapsed because of structural damage. The fire damage caused the floor to collapse. It's the first instance of this ever happening in the history of fire damage in office buildings. It's never happened before like this. But it happened this time, and you got to believe us because we did it, and this is the science behind it. Yeah. And the owner of the building, who just took out an insurance policy on it, said, well, yeah, we told the fire captain that we couldn't save the building. We said, go ahead. And they demolished it, and it came down like a controlled demolition. We clearly saw it. Yeah. So how am I supposed to believe the rest of the official report if you're lying to me about this part here?
If Larry Silverstein is just sitting here like so candidly being like, yeah, it was uncontainable.
Yeah, I fucking insured it for 8 times its value 6 months before the whole thing happened, and then got paid fat and was like, yeah, fuck it, take that one down too. Take them all. Like, I mean, seriously? Like, yeah, Jon Stewart, 100%. Jon Stewart's out there doing it, and I appreciate him for it. I'm pretty much going to wrap it up. I mean, there was a thing called Vigilant Guardian, Northern Guardian. They were training exercises for the Air Force and Air Force response on 9/11, and their whole deal was to zip-zap around the country and, you know, tail airliners who were rogue, who'd been hijacked, who'd done this, who'd done that. And that was the training exercise. And it was scheduled for September 11th, 2001. So they're scrambling guys from Washington out over the Atlantic, and they're scrambling guys from the New York area out to California, and just like crossing dudes around. And it's stupid because when this stuff started happening,
it's like calling in a bomb threat on one side of town and bombing a building on the other side. It's like all the...
Didn't Bane do that?
I'm having a hard time remembering that movie. It's a great movie.
I think that was when he bombed the football stadium. Wasn't there something going on one side of the town, and then he...
Well, that was when he put the girl and the guy. It was like, you got to choose one kind of deal. That was Joker. That was Joker.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I don't watch Superman.
Let's not talk about Batman, Greg.
Oh, right. But so they had these planes scrambled around to different various parts of the country, and after they started getting the responses, like I said, the one hijacker left the radio open, and they were like, they could hear him saying, "Don't come up here. Everything's gonna be fine. If you come up here and try and attack us, we're gonna crash the plane." Blah blah blah. That was the first plane that hit. The
hijacker was saying that, or
he accidentally left the mic keyed to talk to mission control. He thought he was talking to the cabin behind him, and he wasn't. And the lady from one of the flight attendants was on the radio with the tower, and she said, "We've been hijacked. Our number 5 and our number 1 have been stabbed." And she was on the radio with them until impact. And they were like, Betty, because they didn't know what happened yet. Yeah. It's really kind of tragic to hear. Yeah. Like a lot of this shit.
Well, so my wife has been to the museum.
Yeah.
And they have like quotes on the wall from people's last voicemails home and stuff like that. And like,
the one, "I'm not gonna make it, so I just want you to do good."
Right. Like, and so she's not an incredibly emotional person. Not her. She's like very, she's not cold, but
Van Damme.
Yeah, she's Van Damme a lot. Like she doesn't let it. It's not on her sleeve. Very rarely is it ever. And when she came back, I asked her how it was, and she was like, "Dude, I get it. It's beautiful, but don't ever go there. Like it's the saddest
fucking thing on the planet."
She said she got like halfway through it, and it's like a one-way deal. And she's like, "I didn't want to finish. I just wanted to walk backwards and get out because I had already seen that stuff. I didn't want to see anymore."
Yeah.
And I was like,
yeah,
that's super, super heavy.
It is. It's a super heavy topic, and you think about it, and see, I don't want people to take it wrong when I talk about this stuff. That's why I wanted to clarify at the beginning. I'm not saying this didn't happen. There was absolutely very tragic loss of lives. It's just the surrounding events that are suspicious to me. Right. You know what I mean? So I don't want people to think that I'm out here saying, "Oh, 9/11 didn't happen. 9/11 was fake, blah, blah, blah." No. This shit was sad and tragic and awful and should never happen. But it did. It's the evidence that support it that's weird. But there's okay, talking about like the messages people were leaving, like Flight 93. So I don't know much about airplanes, but I know
everything. What's your question?
When did they have the in-flight calling? That was around this time, right? Because I flew on a plane around this time a couple of times, and
I would say from my personal life experience, which is not a ton, I can confirm that I remember seeing planes with phones
in the back of the headrest and all
as
that.
late as like 2007 or 8.
Okay, so it's there. It's around
100%.
And so these guys are in a...
I think some longer flights still have it. Like if you go on like an international flight or something, it's still very much a thing.
Right.
But a lot of them used to like you take a domestic flight and it was there.
Yeah. So during a hijacking of the plane, these guys are pulling out their credit cards and putting in all their credit card information in to make a phone call. I mean, like I get it wanting
or
to,
maybe there's just like a code and they're like, tell us the fucking code, and somebody gave it to them or whatever.
Well, no, but I mean it's it's
you're saying
the passengers on the plane are
making
making these in-flight phone calls, under
or
all
maybe
this
it's just like we already got your credit card on file. You pick it up from 1A,
and it could have been like a
1A.
swipe thing or something like that. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know, but like that always seemed weird to me, And if again, never let a good crisis go to waste. Flight 93 would be the perfect propaganda point. You know what I mean? That of all of this stuff seems the most American. That they were like, you got box cutters and mace. We're gonna fucking tackle you.
We got 90 of us.
Yeah, exactly. We are in control now. Okay,
look at me.
Yeah, I'm the captain
I am
now.
the captain now.
Exactly, and that seems like the whole hoorah American spirit thing. The we're taking control, and we're making the moves. You know what I mean? And that seems like the propaganda point. You'd put everybody behind that, and that's why I feel like there were how many Flight 93 movies that have been made, and they've made one World Trade Center movie in that time.
Real quick, Goat popped in.
Oh, sup, bro?
He said that those phones were a thing in business class starting around 95, and they were linked to your credit card for your seat.
Okay, and that's cool. I
just wanted to call Timmy. Fuck.
Yeah, I just wanted to be like, guess where I am. I do the same thing when there's a phone in the bathroom at a hotel. I call my mom.
Mom?
Yeah, I call my mom. Guess where I am? She's like, in the bathroom, aren't you? I'm like, fucking A. So no, that's good information to have.
Thanks,
but
Goat.
a lot of people were saying it was cell phones and stuff, and I don't know how powerful fucking 2G was. You know what I mean? That's the days of the Nokia.
Yeah, but
the
you know
long
what? Like,
Nokia.
I don't remember I got a phone. I got my first phone when I was 16, so that would have been 2003. Dude, the calling service was never that was never a problem.
Well, that was analog. It wasn't digital.
So I mean,
but my point is, like, on a plane, like, your cell phone works flying through the air.
It does if you're at a low altitude, for sure. Like when you're in the descent coming back in, I'll bust my phone out all the time and get 1 or 2 bars still.
Yeah.
A minute and a half from landing,
Yeah.
So possible, I don't know.
Yeah, and again, I don't either, and that's kind of why I'm asking this, because I would love for more information like what Goat had there. Like, set the record straight, speak up, because I'll trust you guys over an official story. You know what I mean?
Because that whoever's here giving you this experienced it firsthand,
right? And that it's
or
not,
at least they're representing themselves as having done such.
Exactly. It's not some dickbag in a expensive suit writing a report that he's already omitted information from, and is
saying this is an anonymous source,
or saying this is an anonymous source, or like, I already omitted information from this report, and then I've
also redacted.
Yeah, and then
P.S. redacted.
Yeah, and then I fucked all this shit up over here, so I made this the first ever case of this, but it was actually could have been this. And yeah, I mean, it's just it's fucked up. But like, when you look at the Flight 93 crash, there's a big scorched area about the shape of a plane. Still, aside from like a tail chunk, there's not really much of a plane. But still, somehow in New York, like, they found 1,000 feet away from the wreckage, they found one of the hijackers' passports. The FBI has one of the hijackers' passports. You're telling me this 757 flew into the side of an office building that was so hot it caused the structural steel to give way, and it incinerated all the parts of the plane. It incinerated all of the bodies and the luggage and the bones and everything around it, and this passport escaped?
No, sir, I don't like it.
A block away?
Not one bit.
Out of all the papers that we saw pouring out of those buildings.
So when you're talking about 9/11 movies, I imagine this one starting kind of like Forrest Gump and it starts with an airplane crashing into a building and the passport fluttering down and landing at the foot of an FBI agent in the blue jacket with the yellow writing on the back and him just going, huh. Like that's how that movie started.
From this point on, I was running. Like, it's just, I do agree that like it's plausible,
But every single one?
it wasn't every one. It wasn't every passport.
No.
Oh,
I think I meant like as far as like he's saying like it's like what happens to bodies and unseated.
oh,
I think as far as like being thrown or being incinerated or what goes the height probably through the guy's legs one way. Yeah, I mean, here's the deal. You'll never know.
yeah. I mean,
And even the people who, if it wasn't manufactured,
yeah.
who did they'll never know either. They came to their conclusion,
Right.
but they came to the conclusion based on what evidence they had or were given.
And they've already omitted stuff and gotten stuff wrong.
But like you said before we started, it's still open. It's not a
yeah,
closed
it's
case,
still
right?
it's still an open FBI case. But I mean, okay, but again, my problem is, so you find a passport for this guy?
Yeah.
How the fuck do you find a passport for this guy?
I told you, it fluttered right down to the FBI agents.
How does it? I think it was found by a firefighter.
Okay.
But still,
that's even better. It's just
Yeah.
it's just like, and then the shot comes from his feet up.
Yeah, it pans
and
up.
Just pans up, and he looks up, and he just goes, "Huh," and like, yeah.
Opening credits. Yeah, I get it.
Coming to theaters this fall.
Aaron Neville on the soundtrack.
Oh, you better watch out.
So yeah, I mean, like stuff like that bothers me. I mean, we watched these guys beforehand. We knew they were there. We knew what they were doing. We had the information. We allowed it to happen. We capitalized on the fact that it happened to pass more laws and create war because that shit's profitable. And we yeah, oh my God. Is this a passport?
Guys, we're writing a movie. It's happening. It's a group effort.
Yeah, remember everybody remembers Twitch plays Pokemon?
Yeah.
This is Twitch writes a movie.
From the producers that brought you Serial Chillers and hellagregLIVE comes the least charming movie since September 2001.
Oh man. So look, it's been an hour and 40 minutes. We've covered enough of 9/11.
Wait, I can make money on war?
Yeah, totally.
You're not doing it right if you're not.
Bankers hate him because of this one easy trick. Yeah, 9/11, a love story. Just on the front, all bent into a heart.
Oh my God. We're going to hell.
No, my religion doesn't have a hell.
Sweet. Not even for Judas?
Nah, man.
Sweet.
No, your hell is back here on Earth. It's your
Wait, if there's no hell, I want to be Satan again. And it sounds like there's a whole lot less work.
No. Nope.
You're like, Satan's got a big role. Just wait.
Oh yeah.
Season 2, trust me.
Yeah, season 2 of
It's
the
his
Church
big
of Hella.
arc.
If you are interested in joining the Church of Hella, I've got some ideas. I want to do some like rewards for people who are subscribers. Get you some stickers. There's some merch here, right there. There's merch. I've got stickers. I was gonna do little Church of Hella friendship bracelets. Based on what tier you subscribe at, get you a different color and all that. Collect them all. So go to hellagregLIVE.com. I haven't put any information up about that yet. I'm still working on it. The Church of Hella is still in the growing phase. But I do appreciate everybody for being here. I appreciate everybody for enjoying the content and joining in the conversation and all that. I really do appreciate it. It means a lot. I was talking earlier and was like, yes, you know what? It's good to have somebody like ask for your opinion on something when it comes to this. You know what I mean? Like when Paul texts me and he's like, hey, Kennedy wants to know what you think about this. I'm like,
Yeah.
really?
Hold on, I'm going to be typing for the next 15 minutes. So this is a placeholder message to let you know that I saw this and I am typing.
I mean, pretty much. I know you guys know that it'll just when the 3 little dots pop up and stay there for more than then I'm getting ready to send you a fucking book.
I just put my phone down and walk away at that point. I'll be back in
I'll
a couple
deal with it.
hours.
I'll deal with this
I'll
later.
respond to the 42 texts they text one another.
Whoa, that's wild. Anyway, was that 45 minutes outside NYC during 9/11? My girlfriend's dad and at the time was in the city and going to eat at the South Tower that day. That's wild, dude. There's so many people who've had like close calls like that with like what's his name? Seth MacFarlane. Missed his flight. He was supposed to be on one of the planes, but he missed his flight because he was hungover.
Yeah. And then Steve Rasmussen lied about some shit.
Yeah.
And just like to call him out on that whenever I can.
Or what about Mark Wahlberg, who said if he was supposed to be on one of the flights, and he said if I was on that flight, it would have gone down differently because he's a tough guy.
Hey, say hello to your mother for me. Shout out Steve Buscemi, who threw on a jacket and went back to work for the FDNY that day.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Shout out Steve Buscemi. I mean, and shout out all the first responders. I mean, it's a super serious, super scary, like really sad job. Like, and it's sad in ways you don't even think about. Like, do you remember reading like Today I learned about the corpse sniffing dogs that they had to take through the rubble? And the dogs were getting burnt out because they couldn't find anybody. So they
were hiding people.
They had people hiding in the rubble to keep the dogs' morale up, so they'd keep working because they were getting so burned down on that.
So crazy.
Yeah. Hashtag Mark Wahlberg's hate crime. Can't just blind a guy. Can't just blind a guy and have people forget, Mark.
Never forget.
Nobody's gonna forget your underwear ads. Nobody's gonna forget your rap album. Nobody's gonna forget you blinding a guy. And
although you know who's done a good job of making people forget?
Who's that?
Mike Tyson.
Now, Kith. Spinal.
My back is broken.
Really?
What are you talking about, Mike? A vertebrae or spinal?
Yeah, so it's a fucked up and it's a sad story. It for a while it brought us all closer together, and you know, because people bought into it right out of the bat. People were like, "Oh shit!" Like
it's not a bad thing to buy into because it's not like this newfound, very fascist like it's movement of patriotism.
Yeah,
it was truly a
united we stand. We're all together.
Like I've never been like I'm not like I hate America, but I've never been like I didn't grow up with like veteran family members. I didn't like have that. I did the flag salute in the morning, but there was no one to instill that like love of America. I loved it. Like the public education system told me I should. And like that was the love I had for America. What I knew in my very small, very narrow world. Like what do you know? Like nobody's like breaking it down to you tough when you're fucking
spinning their chair backwards. Let me rap with you, son.
Some AC Slater shit, dude.
Yeah, no, like it's crazy and sad, but you're right. It brought us closer together, but it was a different kind of patriotism. That was a more united front. This is more what we're seeing now is more divided and way sad.
Yeah.
But I don't know. It also unfortunately gave us America's mayor, Rudy Giuliani, and like thrust him into the spotlight. And I mean, he was already the mayor of New York, but this is before he started sweating his hair dye.
Crazy mayor of New York.
It was before the sweating the hair dye and like the rubbing the snot rag on his face and all that. And like, yeah, this fucking.
Oh, that is nasty.
Yeah, so those are kind of that's my closing thoughts on 9/11. Jesse, anything else you want to say?
No,
you want to tell people
9/11?
No, okay, then talk about something.
I
else.
gave myself a shout out on here because you had it set up, so thank you. So that's where you can find me.
Yeah,
that's my website. It links to my Twitch. It links to my Instagram. It links to the YouTube that no one goes to. Just kidding. There's nothing there. So what's the point, really?
No, I mean, go check out his YouTube. Like, if you're listening to this on YouTube, when like we're at the part of the show where you can jump off now. Like, there's a couple minutes left and we're bullshitting. So you can go just click on his channel.
It is probably just a bunch of Call of Duty clips and a couple random game montages at this point, but. We have a lot more fun in the Discord, which Greg is also a part of. Is there a Discord?
There is. I think it puts an invite out there.
Okay, so Greg and I share a Discord, so we all hang out here. We pretty much have the same people in our streams from night to night. That's why I don't stream on Tuesdays, and why Greg stays the fuck off the other nights of the week.
Seriously. I've been thinking about like doing other streams. I don't play games, man. I don't play games and when I stream, just because
I have some ideas we'll talk about right after this, because
well, I was gonna ask, like, if there's something that people want to see, if you want like to sit here and watch YouTube videos together and talk shit, like, fine, let's do it. Like, if that's what you want to see, let me know, because I'm down. I've got the time. I've got the time and I've got the want. So if there's stuff you do want to see, if you want me to just sit here and poke buttons on a MIDI keyboard and make dumb repetitive songs, we can do that. If you want to, do.
Daddy, would you like some sausage?
No, I see. I fucking hate Tom
Daddy,
Green.
would you like some sausages? Yeah, but you can't deny that's a slapper.
My personal favorite from that movie: backwards man to backwards man, backwards man to backwards man.
I can walk back as fast as you can. I can walk back as fast as you can.
So
Charlie Foxtrot once came to one of my Halloween parties. Well, he texted me the night before. He's like, dude, I have a business suit. Like, how do I make that a costume? And I was like, dude, put it on backwards. Like, you'll be the backwards man. And he showed up with it on backwards. It was the best costume of the night, dude.
That's awesome.
Backward man, the backward man, backward man, the backward man.
I can walk backwards fast as you can. So yeah, I guess I told you we were just missing 2 minutes of nothing. This is the end, my friend. Thank you all for being here. I really appreciate it. Go visit perfectlycromulentjesse.com. I think that's all I've got.
Okay, bye everybody. I love you.
Bing, bang, boom. See you next Tuesday.
Don't say see you next Tuesday.
You should say it.
See you next Tuesday.